Again, thank you guys for joining us today. We're excited to have you here. And with that, I will hand things off to Jacob. So thank you again and welcome, Jacob.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Alex. Welcome, everyone. Excited to have you here. Like Alex said, we'll do kind of a brief overview of Jubilee TV, walk you through how to get started, and then we'll do a deep dive into a few of our most popular features. I'll walk you through what the experience is for the senior, the older adult, the person that's using the TV, as well as the experience for family members utilizing the Jubilee TV app. So first thing we'll talk through is how to get started with Jubilee TV. So as you may know, Jubilee TV is a two-part system. One is the Jubilee TV console. And so that's a physical piece of hardware that gets installed next to the TV of your loved one, that older adult that's using the TV. And then the other part of the system is a mobile app that you download on your iPhone or Android. You could also access it on a computer and a browser. So to get started, you go to our website, getjubileetv.com, and you make a purchase to get started. At that time, you're going to choose your membership plan, which is monthly, annual, or all in. Once you check out, you provide your shipping information to us. We send you this Jubilee TV console, as well as a couple of other things, right? So you'll receive the Jubilee TV console. You'll receive the Jubilee TV Universal Remote. That's a universal voice remote. You'll receive a remote cover that can go on top of the Jubilee TV remote that you receive. And then you'll also get a variety of cables that makes the setup easier, HDMI cables, everything that you need to get Jubilee TV installed in that environment within the package itself. So when you receive the Jubilee TV console, you'll install it next to the TV. You'll notice here on the back, and I'm going to hopefully you can see this okay, Alex. There's three HDMI inputs, right? And so Jubilee TV requires a source device. And so that's like a cable or satellite set-top box. So a box from Spectrum or DirecTV, Xfinity, Dish, in any of the cable satellite providers. Those are just examples. Or a streaming player like a Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV. You'll connect those into the Jubilee TV console here with the HDMI in. And then there's an HDMI out, which goes into your TV. So when you think about like how the devices are set up, you've got this Jubilee TV console that sits in between the content that you're watching and the TV itself. So you'll notice that I mentioned source devices. So at least one source device is required to use Jubilee TV. And the reason that's the case is all of the signals go through the Jubilee TV console, which power our other features. So if you watch streaming apps directly on the TV, for example, our recommendation is that you use a streaming device such as a Roku and play those streaming apps through the external Roku that plugs into the Jubilee TV console. Uh, you're also able to purchase an add-on 6-button remote, and so that's what this is. It's just the 6 buttons of on-off, mute, volume up, volume down, channel up, channel down. So that's an add-on that you can put in your cart when you go to check out with Jubilee TV for the first time. If you want to use the 6-button remote, it only works with like a traditional cable or satellite set-top box. So it's not going to work with a streaming player like a Roku. Or if you watch like YouTube TV, the 6-button remote's not a good fit for you, unfortunately. This works best with a cable or satellite set-top box. So that's how you get started with Jubilee TV. Some of the kind of like basic requirements, an internet connection is required as well. You'll kind of understand why that's the case when we start walking through some of the features. So in sharing my screen here, what you see on the left is just a camera that's pointed at my TV over here. And then what you see on the right is the Jubilee TV app that I have on my phone. And so I've connected my phone into my computer. And so I like to show it this way so it's easy for you to kind of visualize what's happening on the TV as well as what's happening within the Jubilee TV app. So I'll first start off with like just basic kind of TV interactions with the Jubilee TV remote, right? So with this Jubilee TV voice remote, it turns into a universal remote that controls the Jubilee TV console, the TV itself, and any of your source devices. And so what we're seeing here on the left is the Jubilee TV home screen. This is the launching pad, if you will, for both Jubilee TV features as well as just watching TV or content itself. You'll see a couple of things here like photos, videos, contacts. We're actually going to walk through those a bit later when we dive into the app features. But you'll see I have a DirecTV device, and I also have a Roku device. And so I can tap into Roku using this voice remote, and this will load just the actual Roku. Looks like it turned off. Yep, the Roku home screen. Fully navigate the sorry, press the wrong button there. Fully navigate the Roku home screen with the Jubilee TV remote itself. So I'm just pressing the left, right arrows. Um, so kind of seamless switching between that Roku and the DirecTV. Jubilee TV gets rid of the concept of inputs, right? I know I said earlier that you connect to input one and input two on the Jubilee TV. But as far as like the TV, like the TV inputs are concerned, we can remove the aspect of inputs, and you can seamlessly switch between a streaming player or your DirecTV. So with the voice functionality as well. So let's go to Roku first, and I'm just going to open up the Netflix app here. With that seamless switching, that opens up the ability for us to allow you to tune to channels for your cable subscription just by saying the channel name or the channel number into the voice remote. HGTV. Sorry, it's kind of zooming in and out there. So I said HGTV. You see that we switched over to DirecTV and we tuned to the HGTV channel. Equally, I can press and hold the voice remote and say Netflix. And that's going to take us back over to the Roku and launch the Netflix app. So you have full control of the TV and your source devices here with the Jubilee TV remote. If you're using the 6-button remote or the remote cover, you have slightly less kind of like control functionality, right? Since some buttons are hidden, but the basic ones are here: volume up, volume down, channel up, channel down. Alex, I saw you come off mute. Question before I move on?
Yes, if you right on that note, actually. So Sarah asked, can the 6-button remote also work as a universal remote? Um, so it is a more simplified experience, but if you want to take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 6-button remote does work as a universal remote. The So when you press power on or power off with the 6-button remote, that controls the TV power. So it turns the TV off or on. Mute in volume controls the mute and the volume functionality of the TV itself. Channel up and channel down work with the 6-button remote when you have a cable or satellite set-top box. And the way when you set up the 6-button remote, you will choose channel favorites, which we'll talk about channel favorite. Actually, let's go ahead and do it right now. You have the ability to choose favorites with Jubilee TV for your cable or satellite. And so you see here, I've got these channel favorites: CNN, HGTV, Food Network. When you're using the 6-button remote, the default configuration is that when you press channel up and channel down, it's only going to cycle through those favorite channels. So if your loved one only watches 6 or 7 channels, the default configuration for the 6-button remote is what we call favorites only, channel up and channel down. So when you channel up on with the 6-button remote and say we're on CNN, it's going to skip up to HGTV, which is on 229. So it's going to skip all of those channels between 202 and 229.
That's perfect. Sarah said that they have a spectrum, and so that explains it. So thank you. Our second question that came in, which is a direct follow-up to what you just said as well,
Sure.
is JS asked, can we narrow down the options to choose from? There's only 10 channels that he wants to watch. And so obviously in the 6-button experience, you can have it be that favorites only, channel up, channel down. But is there an option for that for our other remote experiences as well, if they wanted to just flip through those 10 favorite channels?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So what you'll do so if you haven't added any of those channels as favorites, you'll start here in the Jubilee TV app, and then go to this gear icon in the telescope card, manage channel favorites, and then you'll see a list of all of the channels that you have access to through your cable subscription. You'll select those 10 channels that are the most the favorites, if you will. That remote configuration, like standard channel up, channel down, or favorites only channel up, channel down, that can be applied to the full interactive experience with the full remote or the 6-button remote itself. So that's actually the setting that I'm in right now. So if let's go over to DirecTV with my remote. See, right now we're on, this looks like, yep, HGTV. If I channel up, it's going to tune to Food Network, which is my next channel. And then if I channel up one more time, it's going to cycle back down to my first channel, which is CNN. So that setting, that configuration of favorites only, channel up, channel down, doesn't just have to be used with the 6-button remote. It can also be used with the full interactive experience with the full Jubilee TV remote.
Awesome. Peter asked a different question. Can we use a digital antenna as an input? Of course, probably not with the 6-button remote.
You can use a digital antenna. But you have to have it. It depends on if you have a converter box, right? So the Jubilee TV console requires an HDMI input. And so if you have a converter box that takes that coax cable and converts it to an HDMI, that's a device that you can set up with Jubilee TV. It gets tricky with your favorites when it comes to like over-the-air channels, but that's where custom channels comes in. Um, so if you don't have a channel lineup, so like when you go through the Jubilee TV setup, it'll ask you who your cable provider is, just so you don't have one. You won't have a list of channels here. So you could go in and add a custom channel, put in the channel number, and then put in the channel name. And so if the over-the-air channel is 3, and that's like your local CBS affiliate, you can put in the channel name and channel number and channel name and create that custom channel. And then you would be able to cycle through those favorites. Kind of key first dependency there is if you are currently using antenna with just a coax into the TV, you'll need to find a converter box to convert that coax signal into HDMI.
Excellent. Awesome. And then Linda asked, will the universal remote work with DirecTV streaming, specifically Gemini Air? It says Bluetooth and won't work with a universal remote.
Great question. So I actually have a Gemini Air for my DirecTV. So that's my source device. We connect to the Gemini Air via Bluetooth. And so the console pairs with Gemini Air via Bluetooth, which allows you to control, to use the Jubilee TV remote, any of them, the primary remote or the 6-button remote to control the Gemini Air.
Awesome. And then Michelle asked if she has an Amazon Fire Cube, can you save favorite channels?
So favorites are only supported for kind of like traditional linear cable. So your DirecTV, Spectrums, Dish, Comcast, Xfinity. You can also create Roku channel favorites. And so like when I said Netflix earlier, that's going to one of my Roku favorites, which is Netflix. Unfortunately, there's not a way for you to set favorites for a Fire TV because it's a technical limitation, excuse me, with what Amazon provides like us as a technology provider to do. Super technical, but like APIs and like how we connect to their systems, there's just no way for us to connect to a Fire TV where we can for a Roku. With the Roku, you can add app favorites. So the furthest we can get you is just launching that app, right? So you wouldn't be able to say Stranger Things and we take you into Netflix and then to Stranger Things. The furthest we would be able to get you to that app experience is Netflix. So can't set favorites with Fire TV, can't do them with Roku, and it's just channel favorites with Roku.
Yeah, and so it's just to add on to Jacob's point there. It's because of these technical limitations that Amazon allows us to, that Roku gives us more access to. So that's why we can do those favorites with Roku and not with Amazon Fire Stick. Which is why typically, we try not to play favorites, but if we were going to recommend, we would recommend a Roku Express, or a Roku Ultra, because those HDMI sources would allow you to use those favorite options, which is for a lot of users, very convenient. And then again, to reiterate Jacob's point, you could open Netflix as the favorite, but not the show itself. And so one workaround that we'll get to later in the demo is if you set a reminder or an automated action on the Jubilee TV, you could set your loved one's TV to open Netflix at, let's say, 7 p.m. And you could leave a little note on there that says, "Hey mom, like remember to open this channel, or sorry, this show once Netflix opens." So you can kind of get them partially there, and then they'd have to do the rest themselves. Or if you wanted to do it for them, you could do that remotely on the Jubilee TV app via Telescope. So there's a few options there, but again, Roku would give you more flexibility than Amazon. Amy just asked, what about Apple TV? Um, uh,
Apple It's the same thing as Fire TV. The app favorites, the only like streaming device that we support app favorites for is Roku. So your NVIDIA Shield, your Apple TV, your Fire TV, those don't support app favorites, unfortunately.
Gotcha. And then a question that came in at the start of the demo that I already answered, async, but just to bring up again, we had a user who asked if there's a specific TV that we would recommend. The short answer is no. Any modern TV that has HDMI inputs is going to work just fine. But if there's anything you wanted to add to that, Jacob, feel free.
Yeah, we work with any TV. It needs to have an HDMI input. The to choose it at your preference. The Yeah, any modern TV with an HDMI input will work just fine.
Okay, awesome. A few other quick questions. I'll try to rapid fire and then we'll move
Yeah.
on to the demo. Carrie just asked, does this work with a TV where Roku is built into the TV itself, such as a TCL Roku TV? The short answer is yes, but you would still need a Roku as a source device plug-in, which is why you'd want the Express or the Ultra. Jacob, take it away.
Yep, that's correct. So the we can't control apps on the TV itself, right? So that Roku TV that's manufactured by TCL, that's still a TV itself, right? So it still has an HDMI input. So what you would do is you connect the output on the Jubilee TV console into the HDMI input on the Roku TCL TV, and then you just wouldn't use the actual like built-in Roku with that TV. You'd have to have that separate Roku source device. So it works for the TV as an output, right, from Jubilee TV, but as far as the apps on it, the we can't control those apps that are specifically on the TV.
Yeah. So as long as you've got a Roku stick and sorry, a Roku Express or Ultra, you could download those apps on that Roku source device plugin, and then we'd be able to control them. Essentially, they need to be plugged into our system so that we can control them. Um, Linda just asked, how does the Jubilee TV handle recorded shows? Her husband likes to record shows.
Yes. So I don't have a DVR set up, but I can like try to talk through what it would look like. So we're watching DirecTV right now. If I press the guide button on the Jubilee TV, you see this guide kind of like rectangle here. There would be a DVR rectangle next to it, which would take you directly into the like the recorded show area for your cable satellite set-top box. So like the what we're doing is we're just passing through the signal from your actual cable satellite set-top box and giving you the option to access it quicker by pressing the DVR, the little DVR rectangle that would appear to the right of the guide above the HGTV icon there.
Awesome. Jamal asked three questions, so I'm going to try to answer a few and then hand the rest off to you, Jacob.
Yep.
Number one, is there a possibility to add a feature where you can voice chat from the drop-in feature? I believe the best way to do that is if you were using our drop-in feature, you're initiating a one-way video call. That's what drop-in is. You could use this to check in on mom or dad or your loved one to make sure everything is okay. And if you are prompted to want to speak to them because something in the environment requires you to have that conversation, I would just back out of the drop-in feature and then open an auto connect video call. That way you could have a two-way dialogue with them. Alternatively, we also have within our telescope feature something called talk mode. And so that would essentially be another way that you could talk to your loved one while still using another feature. But I think the best way to do it would be to just start a video call after the drop-in. But Jacob, do you have another thought there?
Yeah, that would be my recommendation as well. I guess it kind of depends on the like situation. If you just want to like say something quickly, and you don't want to interrupt the TV watching experience, then that like talk mode with telescope might work. But if you do want to create just bi-directional audio and video, I would recommend Auto Connect Video Call.
Awesome. Tina just asked a follow-up question to that one, which was, do they need to press any buttons to answer the auto connect video call? The answer is no. If you're initiating a video call on the Jubilee TV app, there's two options. There's an auto connect, and then there's a just regular video call, which Jacob is showing on his screen now. So you could either kind of force an auto connect call to connect immediately, which is would be preferred if your loved one isn't able to press the check button on the remote. Um, Or you could give them that option to acknowledge the call by pressing the check button on the remote, which would then initiate the call. But auto connect would not require anything on their end.
Yeah, and we'll I'll demo that kind of end to end here in a second.
Awesome. And then just back to Jamal's other questions. His second question was, when turning the TV on, will it go straight to a Roku Live TV channel instead of him controlling it when it first comes on? I think
Uh,
that's,
so when,
I was gonna
so when
say
the
it kind of
TV,
is, you go, sorry, sorry.
no, that's okay. So when you turn on the TV, it's going to go to the last place that like the last input that you were. So if you were watching Roku, like before you turn the TV off, it may like load the Roku like um screensaver is the word I'm looking for. It may load the Roku screensaver, right? But it really depends on the amount of time, right? Like the Roku itself might go to sleep, in which case when you load it back up, it's just going to take you to the Roku home screen, and you'll have to navigate to that. I'm not sure if I have the live TV. Um, yeah, it doesn't look like I have the live TV app. So you might have to navigate to that. It really depends on like if the Roku goes fully to sleep. But if I was to power out the TV right now, which I just did, um, let the TV turn off. When I turn it back on, it is just going to go back to where I was.
Awesome. And then the third question was, can channel up and down work like the arrows would work to channel? Is
As
that
long as as long as you're using a cable or satellite set-top box. If you use the arrows on like your original remote from Xfinity as an example, um, you would be able to use channel up, channel down, or arrow up, arrow down with the Jubilee TV remote.
awesome? And then one final question for Mark, and then we can move on.
Yep.
Mark asked, can I make a custom channel that is the DVR, Spectrum DVR? His mom is having troubles pressing the menu button and then navigate to list to get to DVR.
Potentially, if your Spectrum box has like DVR as an actual channel number. So like sometimes, but like when you go to your Spectrum guide, they'll embed Netflix as like channel 1001, or like another um, uh, streaming platform is like another channel number, like 1002. So Spectrum has said like you can type in channel 1500 and that'll take you to DVR, then you can use a custom channel in order to do that. But if it does not map to an actual channel number, you wouldn't be able to use custom channel favorites.
Awesome. Cool. With that, we will move on to the next portion of our demo, and then any questions that come
Perfect.
in, we'll just backtrack and answer later in the demo. So no worries there if you have a question that comes up.
Yeah, so that's kind of overview of like kind of TV control. Those were perfect questions that talked through a lot of the use cases as it relates to just kind of controlling the TV and the source devices with Jubilee TV. When we think about kind of the full Jubilee TV feature set, right? There's three main areas. There's TV control, right? So we just covered half of that with being able to control the TV with the Jubilee TV remote. The other half is telescope, which we'll talk about here in just a second. So you got TV control, then you have communication, and then you have what we call remote caregiving. So a TV control telescope, and this is one of our most widely used features, gives you the ability to remotely control the TV from your app, right? And so you'll see here on the right is my telescope screen, on the left is the TV. I'm controlling the TV as if I'm standing right in front of it with the Jubilee TV remote. So anything I can do with that Jubilee TV remote in front of the TV, I'm able to do with Telescope. And so Alex mentioned earlier, right? Like there's like sometimes our loved ones struggle with getting into streaming, like streaming apps or finding content, or even just kind of navigating from channel one to channel three. There's always this fallback opportunity for you to remotely control the TV from your app. You can be anywhere in the world as long as you have an internet connection. And so it's not like you have to be kind of geographically close or um, in the same residence or home. Um, the but yes, like full control with telescope of the TV as if you're standing right in front of it with the Jubilee TV remote. A couple of other things to call out here and call out here in telescope. You see the TV power state, right? So in the top left corner, you see that my TV is currently on. We detect the TV power state so that we can tell you if the TV is on or off. So right now the TV's on. If the TV was off, we'll turn the TV off here. You're going to see that power state change in telescope briefly to power unknown, and then TV is off. So when you go into telescope, and this is also the case here on the main home screen, you'll see the TV power state, um, and can turn the TV on or off from here within telescope. So it says TV off now. You'll see as the TV is turning on, it's going to switch over to TV on. Top right corner, you see this communicate card. There's two ways to communicate with your loved one through the TV when you're using telescope. The first is talk mode. And so talk mode, if you see on my TV, a little icon popped up at the bottom. When I am using talk mode, I can talk into my phone and it comes out through the TV speakers. And so this is a great application for if you're tuning to a show for mom or dad. You can turn on talk mode and say, "Hey, mom, I'm turning it to the nightly news now." Listen mode is the other. Sorry, I got a brief echo there. Listen mode is the other communicate piece of functionality. That's just a two-way conversation. And so if they're saying something back, you can hear that back through your phone when listen mode is enabled. Other things to call out here, you've got these quick action buttons down at the bottom. So any of the favorites that you've set are going to appear here at the bottom in telescope. So if I press 231 Food Network, we were on Roku. It's going to take us over to the DirecTV, and it's going to tune to that Food Network channel. As long as my DirecTV is on. Let's try that one more time. There we go. Yep, going to tune to the Food Network channel. Also within Telescope, you have these quick actions. So the ability to launch photos or launch videos. We'll talk through photos and videos when we get to communication a bit later. Start the slideshow, or you can set a sleep timer. So sleep timer is say it's 9 o'clock at night, and you know that you want the TV to turn off in 2 hours. You can set a timer that says turn the TV off in 2 hours. That's just like a one-time thing. It resets after that sleep timer has expired. So that's Telescope. That's the kind of second half of our TV control feature set. The next feature set I want to walk through is communication. The kind of marquee feature of communication is our video calling. So this unlocks the ability for you to have a video call to the TV from your mobile device, and then from the TV back to your mobile device. We talked through Auto Connect video call briefly earlier. There's two types of video calls, Auto Connect video call and a video call. They're similar other than the video call that TV user, your loved one has to explicitly accept or decline the call, right? So they use the Jubilee TV remote and press the green check or the red X to either accept the call or decline the call. With an Auto Connect video call, you receive these additional options. And so when you're calling with Auto Connect, you can elect to connect after 15 seconds, or you can elect to connect immediately. You can also turn on the TV webcam automatically. If that's disabled, then the TV webcam is not going to turn on automatically when that call starts, and you'll have to turn it on once the call starts. And then also the ability to decline the call. If you want to start the call without your loved one being able to decline it, you can choose that option. So I'm going to start an Auto Connect video call here. You'll see on the TV on the left, incoming call from me. That's my app user. Once this call is connected, you're going to see a lot, a lot of me here. There's 4 Jacobs going on. But on the right, you see the video feed that's coming from the console. And you'll also hear the audio that's coming from the room. The microphone's in the Jubilee TV remote. There's actually 2 microphones. There's one in the Jubilee TV remote, and there's one in the Jubilee TV console that's next to the TV. On the left, you see what the TV user, your loved one, is going to see. I'm actually going to rotate my phone here to show you that if you rotate your phone, it'll go full screen. But since my phone is in portrait mode, that's why it's kind of like a single kind of portrait signal. On the left, you'll also notice that we live caption any of the audio that's coming from the app user, right? So my voice as the family member talking into my phone is being translated, live captioned and visualized on the TV for your loved one, that TV user to see, so they can read along as you're talking. As the app user back over here on the right, you have a couple of TV control options. So you can turn off the TV video from within the video call experience. You can also change the volume level of the TV itself. So if mom or dad says, hey, I can't hear you, or you're too loud, you can control the volume yourself within the video call experience. Some normal video call functionality, being able to mute yourself, stop your video, turn your video on. Um, there's some other settings here. Video calls can support up to 4 people, including the TV user. And so, excuse me. Um, for example, Becca Daly, let's assume she's my sister, right? I could invite Becca Daly to this call, and then it becomes a three-way call between your loved one that's using the TV, myself using my app, and Becca using her app. You're also able to invite somebody who doesn't have access to the app with guest link. And so inviting with guest link just allows you to copy a link to that call and send it to somebody, and they have a one-time access to the video call that's actively occurring, right? So that would be a good opportunity for like a healthcare provider if you wanted to send them a one-time invite to an ongoing video call. So I'm going to end that auto connect video call. I mentioned other app users. I should have let in with this earlier. I apologize, Alex. You can have unlimited, we call them contacts or linked accounts, a part of your Jubilee TV membership, right? So the person who signs up for the membership, we call them the primary admin. That person can then invite other family members or friends to use the Jubilee TV app and also control what they have access to. And so if I remove the admin permissions for Becca Daly, I can control whether or not Becca can video call, do auto connect video call, drop in telescope, these features here. So unlimited app users within your one Jubilee TV membership. The next communication feature that I'm going to walk through is photos and videos. So photos and videos is kind of as simple as it sounds, right? You can send photos or videos from your mobile device to the Jubilee TV console for your loved one to see. Those are accessible under the photos and videos tile. We saw earlier that you can just launch photos from within Telescope. But by choosing photos, you could either click on an individual photo or start a slideshow. When you start a slideshow, it's just going to cycle through all of the photos that you've sent. Of course, you can use the remote left and right to cycle through those photos as well. Videos work the same. When you go to the videos tile, don't actually, I haven't sent any videos to this console, but just a tile pops up and the video plays back on the Jubilee TV console. One more communication feature, Alex, and then we'll open it up for some questions. I'm not watching the Q&A, so hopefully they haven't stacked up too bad. Reminders is the final communication feature that I'm going to walk through. Reminders are a great way to send a one-time message to the TV. Like for example, a medication reminder, or you can create. So actually, let me back up. Two types of reminders. There's just a normal reminder, simple reminder, and a reminder with an automated action. That simple reminder is a happy birthday message, a medication message, reminder for that I'm going to pick you up for a doctor's appointment, right? That message just appears on the TV. A reminder with an automated action allows you to schedule TV events in the future, right? And so, for example, let's go in and create a reminder with an automated action. You'll see what it looks like on the TV, as well as understand the behavior. So I'm going to say, watch the news. I'm going to tune to a channel. Let's select CNN. It's the channel. So watch the news. We're going to tune to CNN at, it's 7:09. So we'll set it to 7:11. You have the option to repeat So repeat every day, every week, or just send it once. We're going to send it once here. Also, the ability to turn on the TV or play a chime. So if the TV's off and turn on TV is enabled, we're going to turn that TV on. The TV's already on. We're not going to turn the TV off. It's just going to stay on. So we've created that reminder. I will create that. When you create a reminder, you can set a um, notification setting to be notified on your mobile app when that reminder goes off. So you can notify yourself, all of the contacts, or don't notify any contacts. I will keep notify me on. Delete this reminder so it doesn't interrupt. So we get 40 seconds here, and you'll see what happens when that reminder pops up on the TV. Like I said earlier, just a simple reminder is the message itself. It doesn't have that kind of like underlying logic to either tune the TV to a channel or to launch an app. There we go. So you see, watch the news with this 15-second automated action. It's counting down in the top right corner. So 5, 4, 3, and then it's going to open up DirecTV and it's going to tune to CNN. So we'll watch that happen together here. 2:02. There we go. All right, Alex, I'll pause there. Super quick with communication, but we, of course, can go back and look at things more in depth based off of questions.
Awesome. No, that sounds perfect. So, one question from Amy that came in earlier, before we got into this portion of the demo. Amy asked, it seems like everything is easier if you have cable, but that the interface for Roku has too many options for her father to navigate. She only needs him to go to YouTube TV, nothing else. What would you recommend is the best experience for her father if he's only using YouTube TV to keep that experience simple?
Yeah, definitely. So this is one of those like um kind of like unfortunate just streaming is complicated things, right? Like with YouTube TV, they don't have like an external cable satellite set-top box. So getting to YouTube TV on the Roku, you could of course create a Roku favorite for YouTube TV. But since it's an app, all of the like kind of staying channel numbers or channel names with voice or like being able to cycle through only favorite channels, that unfortunately doesn't work with YouTube TV. Depending upon how flexible you are with like your subscriptions or like where you live, it might make sense to look and see if it's equal or lesser cost to get a cable subscription or DirecTV subscription where you can actually get a cable or satellite set-top box and then offload your YouTube TV. Unfortunately, that's one of those things where it's like the YouTube TV experience is nested within a Roku app. And so a lot of the cool features that we can do with set-top boxes for cable and satellite just can't apply to YouTube TV as an app on Roku.
Thank you, Jacob. Quick one from Sarah. Sarah asked, is the one-time link to add a person who doesn't have the app, does that automatically open the video for that person when they click on the link? No app required, etc. The short answer is yes. If you have a guest, the app would not be required. They could just open the link and it would launch the video, I believe, in their web browser, Jacob?
Web browser. Yep, correct.
Awesome. Perfect.
And then that
Another.
that link expires after that video call is over, right? And so that's not a like permanent link that they have access to for forever. That link is specific to the ongoing video call. So when the video call ends, that link becomes invalid.
Got it. Two questions from the same user, I believe. The first one is, can the elder initiate the video call? And if so, how is that accomplished on their end? And then a follow-up is going to be, if an auto connect video call is initiated while that loved one is watching TV, what happens to their show?
Great question. So video call from the TV itself to the app user, yes, this is possible. From the Jubilee TV home screen, you'll navigate to the contacts tile and then find the contact that you want to call and then select call. And so if I select call, it's going to ring from the TV and then my phone's on do not disturb. So hopefully it'll ring through. Yeah, I think it's because I'm like screen sharing, but it will ring your mobile app the same way that like a normal phone call would ring. So that you'll be, yeah, so there's the missed call. The So yes, it is possible for the TV user to make an outbound call, a video call to contacts. Um, Alex, that second question, I made the mental note and then I lost the mental note.
I believe it was auto connect, but let me double check. Yes, if an auto connect call is initiated while the TV user is watching television, what happens to their show?
Great question. So the video call just sits on top of whatever signal's coming from the cable satellite set-top box. So like they accept the video call, say they're watching live cable, it keeps running in the background, right? And then when the video call is over, it will go back to like just a live point in time. Um, and so if you kind of think about it in layers, you've got the TV content here at the back, and then the video call at the front. So we like mute the signal, both the video and audio from that input. The video call takes place. When the video call is over, video call goes away, and that signal comes back through.
Awesome, thank you. Two other questions related to guest links. The first one, will guest link work with WhatsApp?
So when you when you're in the video call and you generate a guest link, double link there, you generate that link for guest link. It just copies it to the clipboard on your phone, and then you can then paste it into whatever communication mechanism you want. So if you want to send it via iMessage, normal text message, WhatsApp, if you want to send it in an email, it just copies that link to the clipboard on your device, and then you can paste it in anywhere else to send it to that person you want to invite.
Awesome. And then Peter asked, is it possible to connect to Google Calendar or any other calendar for reminders? For example, if they have a calendar dedicated to mom's doctor appointments and other engagements.
It is not, no. If you wanted to like set reminders for doctor's appointments, right now the only way would to be to go in and create like these personal reminders one on one. However, that is a really good idea, and I'm going to send a message to our product team after the call here and let them know about that. I think they'll think that's cool. So we'll
I
see what
hope
we can
so.
do. Yeah, yeah, that's a really good idea. So we'll share that feedback with them.
They might be watching the demo now as well. So hopefully they're
Uh,
already hearing it, but we'll see if they jump in at the end too. But I also agree. I think that's a good idea. And I already screenshotted your question, Peter. A second question from Peter. How long does a reminder stay on the television?
so when you create the reminder, you can choose. Um, so we'll go and we'll create a personal reminder. Let's just do a simple reminder here. We're going to start at, um, yeah, that's fine. Turn on the TV. Oops. Turn on the TV. Right here, auto dismiss. So do you want the reminder to be automatically dismissed after a period of time has passed? If you say no, then the reminder will stay there for forever until it's either acknowledged or dismissed. If you say yes, you then choose how much time you want it to stay on the TV before it dismisses. Um, and so 2 minutes, anywhere up to 24 hours or never. By choosing never, that's the same thing as choosing no, but you can have it automatically dismiss after a certain set of time. This auto dismiss functionality is a good application for like timely events, right? So if your mom or dad lives in a senior living community, as an example, and you want to send a reminder for a community event that's occurring, you could set that reminder to send 10 minutes before the community event, but then have it dismiss 15 minutes later because that event like has already started, or like an hour later once the event has already passed.
Perfect. A question from Mark. This is related to telescope and commands. Is there a pause and play button instead of using a typed command?
There's not a pause and play button within Telescope, but the command that you would enter is just the word pause or the word play.
Perfect. And then one final question that's here. JS, she asked, or he asked, can you block the ability for outgoing calls or put a time frame on those? That might be a nice segue into the TV interface settings. That is a new feature of ours.
Yeah, absolutely. So TV interface settings is the ability for the app user to reduce or restrict the features and functionality that the TV user, the older adult, can do. So you can access TV interface settings from within the Jubilee TV app. You press the three dots in the top right corner, and then you see TV interface settings right here in the middle. Um, Make outbound calls. You can disable this here. Um, adjust permissions for contacts. See if this updates in real time. I'll show you some of these things too, just like what the actual settings are. Yeah, so within TV interface settings, if adjust permissions for contacts is enabled for the TV user, then the TV user can go in here and view the permissions for the contact and turn off different features. The for the contact. So that's turned off by default for Jubilee TV. Make outbound calls can be disabled. Add or remove favorites can be disabled. Inviting um, new contacts as well as receive photo and video notifications. So when you send a photo or a video, it sends a message to the TV similar to what that reminder looks like and says like you have a new photo. You can turn that off here from within TV interface settings. So yes, ability to disable the uh, disabling the ability for the TV user to make outbound calls. And that's just a one or nothing setting though. There's no way to say like only disable between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. Once it's off, it turns it off for all time.
Perfect. That is all of our questions at this time. Amy did just say really great questions. Maybe we should start a support group. Funny you say that, Amy. We actually do have a member community hosted on Facebook. So if you are a Jubilee TV member, you can join our Facebook group, which has over 1,500 of our active members in it. And there's a lot of really good discourse with recommendations between the types of TVs and apps and strategies that people use with their loved ones, as well as creative ways that they've been using our features. So definitely join that if you have not already. Cool. And we'll move on. Sorry, two more just came in.
No worries.
Mark asked, you ask the tech folks to consider a pause, play, and rewind button. It's a bit clunky trying to type that in when you want to rewind a show after a call. Yes, we will forward that along to our
Yeah.
product director. Um, And then Michelle asked, what is the security measure so that hackers cannot call into the TV or watch them?
Great
Like I
question.
said,
So yeah, so Jubilee TV is built with what we call like a walled garden approach. So when you create your Jubilee TV membership, that primary admin owns the kind of like billing relationship, the membership with Jubilee TV. In order to access the console, you have to be authenticated through an account with the mobile app. And so there's no way for you to start a video call or drop in, use any of the features without being invited to the Jubilee TV app and then logging into the Jubilee TV app. So it's what we call, like I said, what we call a walled garden approach that's fully dependent upon the invitation that has to come from the person that signs up for Jubilee TV, and then you have to log into to the app or the web page.
awesome. And that is all the questions for now, so we can keep moving along.
Awesome. Yeah. So final group of features that I'll walk through is what we call remote caregiving. The first is drop-in. And so drop-in here just creates a one-way video and audio feed from the TV, from the Jubilee TV console. So the camera on the console, and the microphone on the console for you to just peek into the room. So you'll see it doesn't interrupt the TV watching experience, right? Drop-in is really popular. Sorry, uh, echo. Drop-in's really popular to see like, hey, is mom or dad in front of the TV before I start a video call, or a way to just to peek in and make sure everything's okay. Actually, heard a story from some of our team members talking to a customer. They were using drop-in and were able to detect that a camera had or a candle that was like too close to a newspaper had set the newspaper on fire. So they were able to call the fire department to come over and like put out the fire just by using drop-in. So really cool feature to just like peek into the room, whether or not you're wanting to start a video call or just a way to check in, make sure things are okay. So drop-in is the first feature of what we call remote caregiving. The uh, the second feature is activity feed. And so activity feed is a great way to understand routines throughout the day. There's a couple of ways to use activity feed. The most powerful way to use activity feed is to enable what we call Jubilee TV Vision. And so Jubilee TV Vision is presence detection, which uses the camera on the Jubilee TV console to detect if people are present in the room, and can snap a photo when somebody enters the room, as an example. Um, so we'll go here and look at the events that have occurred in the 7 p.m. hour here. So you see at 7 p.m. the TV was turned on by telescope using telescope. Buttons were pressed on the Jubilee TV remote. You see here at 7:06 that Jubilee TV detected a person present. Very poor angle of me, but you can see that it detected me present and it outlines me with that green rectangle. You see additional remote button presses here, any presence changes. That's all logged here in activity feed. This is a great way to monitor routines on a regular basis. If you know that mom wakes up every day and watches the Today Show at 7 a.m., then like that'll be detected here with an activity feed. And so it's a great way to kind of passively monitor routines throughout the day. Additionally, there's tons of notification settings. I'll show you exactly what they are here in a second. But you can be notified when people enter the office or enter the room, as an example. My Jubilee TV console is in my office, and so it just says someone entered the office. If your Jubilee TV console is in the living room, then it'll say somebody entered in the living room at this time. So you can elect to be notified um, the when somebody turns on the TV, either the first time during the day or at any other time during the day, when somebody enters the room, when somebody turns off the TV, or when the last person leaves the room. And so these are all push notifications that get sent to your mobile device. And it's all based off of that presence detection with Jubilee TV Vision, or interactions with the TV itself. With some other settings with activity feed, you can choose to turn off like snapshots altogether. And so you can turn off taking any photos. If you do that, then you're just going to see those remote events occur, right? So when the TV was turned on, when the remote was used, more remote uses, and just no photos will be taken if you have that setting turned off. So that's remote caregiving between drop-in and activity feed.
Awesome. Three questions. Will Tina asked, will presence detection work even if the TV is off?
Yes. Presence detection continues to work despite the what we call the power state of the TV. So if the TV is on or the TV is off, presence detection, it kind of works in the background.
Awesome. And then Peter suggested that fall detection would be awesome within the vicinity, that there are certain groups that can do this privately. Um, Anything you would add to that, Jacob? I don't have anything initially.
Yeah, I hear you, Peter. We'll share the feedback with our product team. It's certainly a very kind of applicable use case, right, for those for the older adults that are using Jubilee TV. So yeah, we'll pass that feedback along to the product team.
Perfect. And then one final question before we move on. How is Jubilee TV accepted in nursing facilities? So this is kind of case by case, but Jacob, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, great question. The uh, so I'll start off by saying this is kind of like my experience in working with senior living communities throughout my career, right? There's really two aspects. There's one, the state law in which the nursing home is present. And so I would recommend to do some research on the state law as it relates to monitoring. So that's the kind of one layer of it. And then the other layer of it is just community policy. right? And so as you like, if you think about it, right, like I mean, if the state law prevents something, then the community policy has to accommodate for that. Um, the my best recommendation to you is to have a conversation with the administrator at the nursing home, the senior living community. Explain the functionality of Jubilee TV. We do not record video, right? And so video calling is truly live only. So there's no video recording. Um, there is a camera on board the Jubilee TV console. There's a privacy cover on that camera. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here briefly to show you better. There's a privacy cover on the camera here, as well as a physical toggle to turn off the microphone. Um, in our experience, we have plenty of customers that are successfully using Jubilee TV in a nursing home or a congregate care environment, senior living community, skilled nursing, nursing home. But my recommendation to you would be to kind of like understand what a state law might be to prevent from a monitoring standpoint. And then just have an open conversation with the community and say, there's no recording happening. We can see live into the room, but we cannot record anything. Still photos are taken at various times if you're using presence detection, and kind of take it from there. But yeah, I mean, we have tons of customers that are using Jubilee TV in nursing home and senior living community settings, and they're able to successfully do it between those kind of state restrictions as well as community policy restrictions.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacob. And then a question just came in asking if this webinar would be recorded. The answer is yes. I will have the recording of this session and all of the demoed features that we're going through, as well as the questions, recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel tomorrow. And then I'll be sending out a follow-up email with that link as well as additional resources. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. But yeah, that's it for questions that are
Yeah.
in there right now. Do you want to move? Is there anything else that we want to run through today, Jacob?
I think we're good on the demo side, and happy to walk through like more in depth on an individual feature if there's more questions. But we hit the highlights. There's tons of resources available online as well. Alex, you might reference these. We have a super robust knowledge base that gives like detailed information on each feature, how to use it, how to get started, like what requirements and dependencies might be in place, as well as tons of user guides and blog posts and stuff on our website as well, as far as kind of understanding the product a bit more.
And then, of course, in addition to all of those resources, if you guys have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to our
Sure.
support team or myself directly. The email that I'll be reaching out to you guys with the recording link tomorrow is my personal email, and you're welcome to reply directly, ask any questions at any time. I'm here, Jacob's here, the whole team is here for you guys. So, yeah. But thank you again, Jacob. This has been a really helpful demo. We did just run through a lot, so if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A chat. Um, we have a few folks who have said thank you. Mark has a follow-up question, which is there a way of
Yeah.
turning off closed captioning from Telescope?
Yes, there is. So this works like 90% of the time, and it's just sending CC in that command box in Telescope. When I say it works 90% of the time, like that's going to work if you're watching um, from a cable satellite set-top box, like if that's the active source. That other 10% of the time is as your streaming apps on a Roku or an Apple TV. You would have to like navigate with the up, down, left, right arrows into like the settings within that video to turn on or turn off closed captions. So CC in the command box for Telescope works for um, the equivalent of pressing like the CC button on the Jubilee TV remote or the CC button on your original set-top box remote. But you would have to navigate kind of into that sub menu within streaming content to turn off closed captions there.
Perfect. One other question came in from Sarah, which is she probably missed the answer to this at the end, so she's reinstating now. Her Nana has Spectrum. When she uses the six button remote, quote unquote, on, will it go directly to Spectrum or her last favorite station? So, and then she doesn't have Roku, so will it start on that page that has the contacts, the photos, etc. So, couple thoughts here. So, one, she's using the 6 button remote. Two, it sounds like she's asking if it'll go to the Jubilee TV home screen, which if she's using the 6 button remote, she would not see on the TV end.
Perfect.
But I will leave it at that.
Yeah, yeah. So when you're using the 6 button remote, you don't see that Jubilee TV home screen at all. And that's because you can't interact with it, right? You don't have the left, right, up, down arrows. So if the TV's off, with the 6 button remote, you turn the TV on, it's just going to go to Spectrum, and it will like load the Spectrum source at whatever you're watching last. So if you're watching a movie on TNT, at night, you turn the TV off, go to bed, come back in the morning, turn the TV on. It's gonna load Spectrum and it's gonna go, excuse me, to that TNT channel. The yeah, usage modes like the 6 button remote versus the full features remote with uh it's complex but like intentionally designed, right? And so we've thought through those things of hiding the Jubilee TV home screen when you're using the 6 button remote. Um, Happy to answer kind of like more specific questions on it. But Alex, there's a really good like chart, like flow chart, and the knowledge base that shows like when you're using this, this is the experience that you can expect. So that's another good resource.
Awesome. Yeah, just to follow up on that point, so we have a very detailed knowledge base of documentation on all of our features available on our website. I will include a link to that knowledge base in the follow-up email tomorrow. And then there's a wonderful like search function on there that if you type in the name of any feature or question, any related articles will pop up and you could scan through those as much as you want. And there's a lot there. So it's a great learning opportunity. But again, if it is a lot, you can also email us.